Hello, everybody, and welcome into Inside Cornerstone, your weekly look at everything going on in the world of Cornerstone First Global Methodist Church here in Alexander City, and we're glad that you've joined us today for the show. I'm Brett Pritchard, your host, and I'm beside the infamous Billy Coleman.
Well, thank you, Brett. I appreciate that.
Our pastor at Cornerstone, and glad to have you here, Coach, as every
Thank
week.
you. It's a
And
blessing
it's
always.
good to look over there and see.
Some people don't believe me when I say it's great to be here with you, Brett.
Well, I know it.
I mean,
they probably think you're
I
lying.
mean it sincerely,
They really probably
though.
think you're telling a lie.
I really
It's
do
ain't
mean
no
it.
Preacher's lie.
I'm loving this. I look forward every week to this show.
I do too. It's a fun time
it
being
is
able to
fun.
get together and fellowship. And, hey, look, starting off with that, hey, you don't go to church, just for the few hours on Sunday, you're supposed to worship every day. So this gives us an opportunity,
True.
another chance to worship. And,
It does.
you have your time with God, and but it gives us an opportunity to talk about all the great things going on inside of our church and outside of our church, because, we reach out in the community and do a lot of different things. And, that's why we want you to come to this program to see that, to hear that. You can go to our website at cornerstone-fgmc.org to catch up with all the latest things going on with our church. You can obviously catch us on Facebook. So that's where you can go back and watch all of the sermons from the previous Sundays. They're all archived there. They're archived on the website. They're archived on the Facebook page as well. So you can go catch those, both the Green Street service, the formal service, and the Arbor service, the more contemporary service. And this past Sunday, Coach, that's where we're going to start. This past Sunday was Children's Sabbath, where the children kind of just took over. We just kind of turned it over to them.
Not only did they take over, I think they really enjoyed it.
That's good.
And
so they back up this next Sunday, right?
Yeah, I got to work on my sermon right after this. But, I really appreciated the adults. I mean, it takes a village, of course.
Right.
The children were fantastic. They did everything except the message, and they probably could have done that too. But the people, the youth,
Right.
and the parents, and not the non-parents. I mean, everybody was so supportive of them and encouraged them, and they really stepped up, and I was amazed. I had to do the same message at both services because it was the children's Sabbath and the kids were going to be at both of them. Well, I mean, it's hard for an adult to hear the same thing twice. And I looked out there at Green Street, which was the second service, and they were sitting, in both services. They sat on the floor, right in front.
Right in the front.
And I looked at them, and they were looking and paying attention. And it really, it kind of got to me because I spent my life just loving to work with young kids. I mean, when you're an educator, the principal, superintendent, coach, all that stuff, you work with a lot of children, and they just have my heart.
They do.
They do.
Again, when you go into education, it's a calling. It's almost.
I think it
you
is.
Call. We talk about in ministry, you're called to the ministry.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think if you love education, you truly have a career, you spend a career in education, you're called to that because. Again, this isn't breaking news. You don't go into education to get rich. And when I say rich monetarily, but you know what? There's other ways to be rich in this life.
Oh, yes.
And I know a lot of people go out there and they're probably rolling their eyes and all, but that's the truth. I'll use myself as an example. I spent 25 years at a community college, and for a majority of that time, I was ambassador sponsor, and that was the student group that really were the leaders of our college. They had to go through an interview process and before a panel and had to be selected, but they were leaders in their high schools. And so they came to CAC and they were leaders at our school. And, to really invest in those kids. And my wife, when we were just getting started as far as, when I started working there, we were just married and, we really kind of took a lot of those kids in and really, I don't want to say ministered, but really shared a lot with them. And we took trips where they were able to go and
they don't forget that.
And they don't. But what I'm getting at is to watch those kids become adults.
Oh, yeah.
And adults with kids, and for them to come back and say how much of an impact either I had or the program had or the college had on their
Right.
life. And you know, my mom was a guidance counselor and an English teacher for 30 years in high school, and she told me all about that. She said, you know, you have that same kind of calling to kids as I did. You are there, and God put you in a place to have an influence, a positive influence on their life to kind of help steer them in the right direction. And it was not me, but just being able to share and be a part of that program was huge. And I get all the time messages and comments and people coming back. And that's the same with our youth in our church. And I wrote down before the show started leadership roles. And a lot of times in church is where young people first learn how to be a leader, you know, either through a Sunday school class or Bible school or children's Sabbath Sunday like we just had. That's the first exposure they've ever had to maybe having some type of ownership or leadership role in a program or something.
They did everything, like I said, except the message. And, you know, I know the moment. I was sitting on a rock at Camp Simatonga. I'd been a counselor for the young men that were in my little group that accepted Christ. I sat right there on that rock, and I said, I'm going to serve you through young people for the rest of my life. And from there, you know, I was pastor to church for 4 years when I was in college. And so what do you think? I mean, I'm going to go on and be a pastor, right? No, I never gravitated away from that calling. And when I got my degree and I got my first job, actually here at Benjamin Russell, some people were surprised. And later on in my life, when I would speak, they would say, I thought you got out of the ministry. And I said, no, I accepted the ministry for young people. And when I finished that 4 years, and I loved that church. I mean, my goodness, I loved them. But I went into serving young people the other way. And Brett, I could write some books. I'll tell you one. Let me tell you one right quick. So I'm riding a school bus in Coleman County, right? And so we're in the West Point district. Where Shireen's the principal there at the elementary school. I'm the superintendent at that time. This little boy says, Coleman. My principal's named Coleman. I said, I know she is. That's right. He looked at me and said, are you her daddy? I mean,
that made you feel good.
Oh, I mean, it's just kids. I just love being around them, cutting up with them, pretending. You know, we go nuts at Jacob's Ladder on Thursdays. We do a little skit. We got a guest coming on.
We do have
David
a guest.
He played Goliath. The man is a Goliath. He comes in here, he goes, boy, the kids, they'd run off. He even scared me a little bit.
They didn't throw a rock at him, did they?
No, they didn't. We threw a piece of paper, though.
Okay.
We threw a piece of paper, and he ran out.
Already ran away.
He did a great job, man.
He didn't fall down. He
I
ran
love
away.
David Hand.
He ran out, didn't he?
He did, but he kind of ticked me off today now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, when this show's over, we're going to talk a little bit. He criticized Columbo, and I can't take that. I'm sorry. I'm
There
an
are
American,
lines to be crossed.
and I'm not going to have. So Dave, we'll work it out though, because we're friends. He's over there. I can't even see him.
He's over
now.
there in the shadow.
Yeah. Look, he's a large shadow over there. Look.
He's got pearly white teeth because I can see him. Even in the dark over there. That's good.
I love you, David.
That's good. You want pretty white teeth, you know, especially if you're coming on camera. But anyway,
The calling, yeah, I get. I understand
I
it.
really think you know, with those, that really is the first thing I thought about on Sunday when I was watching. I was watching live stream because I was not there Sunday. I was out of the state. But watching that on live stream, and I saw all those kids up front, and I was thinking about them watching you or being part of this and paying attention and being a leader. I don't know why it stuck out up there, and I made a note about leadership roles and when is it too early to become a leader? When is it too early to be exposed to leadership? Now, again,
Never.
I think everybody is a leader in their own right, but
Sure.
it takes a special person to be able to get out front and be a true leader, because the leaders get shots taken at them. You know, leaders get criticized.
That's right.
You know, and everybody can't be a leader because everybody's not cut out to be a leader. And you've got to have thick skin a lot of times.
Sometimes you
because you got to make decisions that are not going to be popular with some people. So, again, children, no matter what age, being able to stand up in front of a congregation, recite a Bible verse, recite a passage, whatever it is that they do, lead a song, sing solo, play an instrument, is important because, I'll kind of go back to another one real quick before we go to our first break, and we'll welcome David up here. On our sports show, I had a professional who's a professional athlete now. When one of his first interviews he ever did was on our sports show. And he came back and he told us, he said, man, when they threw those cameras in my face in college and in the pros, he said, I was already used to them. He said, I got the jitters out when I was on a younger kid on y'all's show. Yeah. And I realized that the camera wasn't going to reach out and bite me in the face. And I wasn't going to suffocate. Yeah. So, again, getting people exposed, and we can translate that to the Bible too. The earlier you expose kids and get them involved in the church, the better it is for them in the long run.
Jesus, and I know we'll get to it for the show. We got to go to break, but Jesus said some pretty strong things about dealing with children. Maybe before this show's over, we can talk a couple of them.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, our good friend David Hand will be with us. Stay tuned. More Inside Cornerstone right up.
Nothing about Columbo, though. Nothing.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau tri-tunes, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
Medicine Express Family Pharmacy, located conveniently at the corner of Airport Drive and Highway 280 in Alexander City, offers friendly service, convenient drive-through service, and can answer any questions on prescriptions and vitamins. Local family owned with 30-plus years of pharmacy experience, they also offer compounding services, which includes personalized hormone replacement, therapies, and pain gels. And they accept most insurance and discount cards. Go see them today at Medicine Express Family Pharmacy.
Amanda Scroggins with RE/MAX Around the Lake will cover every inch of Lake Martin's 880 miles of shoreline to find your family's dream home. Amanda's experience is top-notch, and she is consistently a top 10 RE/MAX agent in the state of Alabama. Her love for her clients is sincere and from the heart. Call her today at 256-749-6634 or visit her website, amandascroggins.com today.
As your State Farm team, we will be there for you with the financial strength to deliver on our promises. Service that's a sure thing. You can think of us as your good neighbors who help protect what's important to you. We're here when you need us the most. You can call us 24/7 to get answers to your questions, file a claim, or see if we can find you more ways to save. We have many coverages and many discounts. We can help protect more areas of your life and find every discount you qualify for along the way. Please call us or visit 2048 Cherokee Road for coverage you can count on.
For 30 years, Derek Blythe has built a reputation in the Alexander City area as the family attorney. He's always been passionate about fighting for his clients because he believes everyone deserves an advocate in their corner. People of his community deserve to have someone in their corner to fight for them. And he loves making lasting relationships with those people and their family. Whether you're seeking child custody, divorce, visitation, looking for compensation after being injured in a car accident, probating an estate, dealing with a contractual dispute, fighting criminal charges, Eric Blythe is here for you.
Welcome back, everyone, and if we make it through the rest of this one, it will be a miracle, and God performs miracles, so He's going to help us get through this one. But we are glad to be back, and our good friend David Hand is with us.
What's up?
Our youth.
How you doing, guys? How you doing, guys?
And,
How you doing, man?
All right. How you?
I tell you, man, some fun times, some exciting things going on with our youth right now in our church. And, one of the things that we seem to center around our conversations every week has to do with children in some form or fashion.
Amen.
And I guess probably everything that goes with being alive and exciting. When you look at healthy children's ministries and healthy youth ministries, that's where it comes from. And again, no offense to anybody out there, but you and I have talked about it, Coach, numerous times.
Right.
If you look at a church with a growing group of young people, you got a church that's on fire, and you got a church that's got a future. And again, I think that's one of the things that's been so special about our church and the few months that we've been, together, after the split, is that we have a tremendous group of young people. Amen. And it just brings excitement. And you and I talk about in education all the time. We get older, the kids always stay the same. You always, the kids you work with, but it makes you younger. When you're around a bunch of young people all the time, it makes you younger, makes you feel younger. So I think that's another draw of being around you.
I agree totally. I mean, I know people don't see me as a 17-year-old, but I love doing it. I love to have fun.
David's still
17.
Cut up with people like that and have fun. And, the whole church, David, is on board. I just think everybody is unified in this support for our children and our youth, and that's got to feel good.
I tell you, I used to spend a lot of days, long time ago, going around talking to different churches. They'll say, David, what do you think? SBRCs and stuff like that would say, we want to grow. We want to grow, and we want to take our church to a new level. How do we do it? How do we get there? And first question I ask is, what's your investment in our young people? Because I feel like that's the way you're going to grow. And then they said, well, we ain't thought about that. We have a great senior group. We have this. I said, but how are you investing in your students? So that's what I always talk to our other churches about. But I have to say, and this is just coming straight from the heart like I do a lot of times. Sure. I have never seen a church to come together for its young people like ours have. I've been involved, this is my 21st year in youth ministry. Loved every bit of it, but I've never heard of or been a part of a church who gives so much time, effort, money, anything that our students need. This church has provided over. I'm going on my 11th year here. And the main thing a youth pastor wants wherever he goes is support from his pastor and support from his congregation to make his thing successful, his ministry. I have been blessed and given that for 11 years now, and I just see the love and support continue. So,
I want to add a couple of things. I'm not going to name any names, but I know of two families that are going to our church right now because their kids have friends that were members of our church, and they were invited, and they came, and they love it here, and now every Sunday they're here, and that's the next step. And again, you take steps as they are, but you hit the nail on the head, David. That is an attraction and a draw to a church that otherwise those adults probably never would don the door. And again, I'm just saying that, they could be coming from another church or they could not have been in church at all. But, having young people with friends, we tell them all the time, our programs that we have and, weekends like Discovery, you don't have to be a member of the church to go on these trips.
Amen.
You can be a friend, you can invite a friend, but that leads people to your church through children. And then the second thing I wanted to talk about is, you're right, like literally one of the first things we prioritized as a church when the deal was done and we became Cornerstone and became part of the Global Methodist is our youth facility. Right. You went from having a youth facility to not having one, and everybody in the church, like almost to the person, said, what are we going to do about this? We need to make this, we need to bump this up to the top of the priority list, and we need to get this going. And boy, we got a great surprise to show everybody today. I want to lead into that.
It happened overnight.
It happened overnight. We snap our fingers and Kane show everybody where we are with the youth facility that literally a few months ago was an open vacant lot.
It absolutely was. Look at it.
And we've got a few pictures. I'll let him go through them, David. But I know this is a huge facility. This is not just a little bitty. I know the excitement for you and the kids is just, man, it's out of the universe, man.
And that's what I go back to, a church supporting its students and young people. How many? I don't know if any other church would have took this on
At 7 months
and
old.
7 months old, saying, "Wait a minute."
It really wasn't 7 months old. It was like 1 month old.
1 month
It's when it
in,
started.
we started
Yeah.
talking about it.
Yeah, right.
1 month into your startup of your new church, and this church is saying, we're going to take our top priority and put it toward our young people. That don't happen everywhere. That does not happen everywhere. So our kids are excited about our new building. We're already in there, already planning where projectors gonna go, TV's gonna go, the basketball court's gonna go. So
Talk about the inside of that
Yeah,
building.
yes,
a little.
yes.
the inside is huge. You have higher enough ceilings that we'll be able to play basketball in, set up a gaga courts or whatever we do, 9 square and all of that. Then we're going to have a full kitchen. And then my office will be to the side of it. But our full kitchen will be for all our youth events. But also, we're going to pick a one night a week where our students have a cooking channel. So we're going to have a cooking channel with our youth that they come in, they fix their favorite recipes, and we're going to broadcast that live on YouTube or whatever.
Will you get invited to that?
Yes, and then hopefully, we might do it on Thursday nights, or we make some to-go plates for Feast of Sharing or something like that.
How about that?
So all the things and planning is starting to run through our mind, but the inside is just huge. I mean, it's going to be beautiful.
You know, I want to go back and literally it feels like this past week when we had the pictures up of the groundbreaking. And when the groundbreaking, I remember walking out of the Arbor service and walking across the street and everybody was there and we kind of witnessed
Had the shovels.
and
Yeah.
and you know, I felt like yesterday. I mean, time flies. I do know that, but you look at that building and it's like, man, it literally did come up overnight. It feels like, and again, now we've been blessed with extremely dry summer.
Right.
And
helps.
to this point, not very much rain. So construction people love that because they
Right.
can really get after it and they're not hampered by, a lot of rain and weather. But that helped them speed this up. But they got down on the ground and literally I drove down the street one week and I looked over there and there was nothing. And I feel like I went back down the same street 48 hours later and that building was
It
sitting there.
seemed that way. It
So,
really
and we
did.
talked about it, but again, this is and I don't want to diminish this. I don't want to act like this was, oh man, this was built cheaply and this was thrown. This is a major undertaking.
Major.
And again, I want to say that there was a lot of time and effort put into the shed, over at Trinity, and when the church is split, that was part of that property, so it stayed there. So there was a lot of love and time and effort. I know you and Steve, David, and other people had put a lot of sweat equity into that building and all. And it's tough to see, but it's like you said. I remember you standing up in church and saying, at the end of the day, that's a building.
That's a building.
If we don't, and at the time you didn't know if we'd be able to build something or not, and you were like, we're gonna figure it out. But the people inside, and that's the same with the church. Brick and mortar's brick and mortar, but the people and what goes on inside the brick and mortar is what's special. But people in that church, and I remember sitting there and we had that meal. Basically everybody came into the Arbor and it was a big day, and it was the first Sunday and everybody came across and we were eating, and that's when the announcement was made about the building. And man, I'm telling you, I saw a lot of people crying in there. There were, you know, I saw kids crying. I saw kids excited. I just saw adults, you know, all the way around. And how much a priority, you know, our church puts into our youth. I can't say it enough.
It's amazing.
David, get inside those kids' heads for a minute and tell us how are our young people reacting to all of this?
Well, first of all, they see a church who cares about them. You know, plain and
That's
put.
good.
They see a church who loves them and cares about them.
Right.
They're not putting them second down the line.
Right.
They are putting them as one of the top priorities of the church. And for a young person, that's very important. That they see their church is saying, you're one of the very important parts of our congregation.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what we're
Young
doing.
people, they pick up on stuff. And
You can't-
I had a coach
You're
tell
not
me.
going to fool them.
You can't fool a young person.
Well, I had a coach say one time, said, kids, they get everything but the signs. Like talking about baseball, he said, they'll catch everything going on in the game, in the dugout, all the stuff in the stands. Now, they might miss a sign, but they're not going to miss the you know, the camaraderie.
Yeah.
They're not going
Right.
to miss whether there's negative energy or positive energy. They're going to know about that. So, David, we'll get you to stay on for another segment because we're just now diving into this. A lot more we want to talk about. We got to take a break. Stay tuned. More Inside Cornerstone right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
As your State Farm team, we will be there for you with the financial strength to deliver on our promises. Service that's a sure thing. You can think of us as your good neighbors who help protect what's important to you. We're here when you need us the most. You can call us 24/7 to get answers to your questions, file a claim, or see if we can find you more ways to save. We have many coverages and many discounts. We can help protect more areas of your life and find every discount you qualify for along the way. Please call us or visit 2048 Cherokee Road for coverage you can count on.
Amanda Scroggins with RE/MAX Around the Lake will cover every inch of Lake Martin's 880 miles of shoreline to find your family's dream home. Amanda's experience is top-notch, and she is consistently a top 10 RE/MAX agent in the state of Alabama. Her love for her clients is sincere and from the heart. Call her today at 256-749-6634 or visit her website, amandascroggins.com, today.
Medicine Express Family Pharmacy, located conveniently at the corner of Airport Drive and Highway 280 in Alexander City, offers friendly service, convenient drive-through service, and can answer any questions on prescriptions and vitamins. Local family owned with 30-plus years of pharmacy experience, they also offer compounding services, which includes personalized hormone replacement, therapies, and pain gels. And they accept most insurance and discount cards. Go see them today at Medicine Express Family Pharmacy. Welcome back, everyone, to Inside Cornerstone. Again, glad to have David Hand with us, and that segment there previously talking about, and you saw the pictures of the new youth facility that's almost completed. David, let's talk about what's going on, and the youth have been active in this. They haven't been building it, obviously,
Right.
but you know, going over and looking at the progress and going inside, and a few weeks ago, you guys went over and a lot of the kids were able to go over and write on the studs, you know, in the walls and write their names and their scriptures.
I
And
got to put one on there.
Coach, even well,
Amen.
you're right there, part of them, right, Coach? You're
Oh,
part,
yeah.
part of the kids. And,
Can't tell the difference as far as writing goes.
but I thought that was pretty cool
Yeah,
there, Dave.
yeah.
Well, we was over there. Like I say, everything happened so fast. We walked over one Sunday morning for Sunday school, and we just gathered in a big old circle, like on the cement slab, and we just prayed over the building. We just prayed, and the following week, everything, the walls, the studs, everything was put together. I was like, wow, this is amazing.
We need to come over and do
And,
this again.
and so we went over there again, and we got together, and I just had one of those moments. Was okay. Let's grab a Sharpie, and let's write our name and favorite Bible verse on the inside of the walls. And our youth were like, can we really write it right on the wall? I said, yeah.
Take ownership.
You know,
of
it
yeah.
may
The
be.
kid doesn't like to write on the wall.
Right.
No matter
Yeah,
what
that's
adult
right.
don't
You know,
like to write
it's
on the wall.
going to be covered up, but their name and scripture will be there for a very
Well, you know,
long
that,
time.
that to me is kind of the symbolism. You said it'll be covered up, but it's going to be in the wood
It's
of that building.
in the foundation.
Ingrained
Yeah.
in there. So not
Awesome.
necessarily what you see a lot of times on the outside is the true.
It's a beautiful thought.
It is. It is. So,
It is.
you know, to know that, and again, generations to come, you know, over time, people may go, I didn't know that, you know, somebody wrote on this building or wrote on the studs, but we know and the kids know, and as they grow up and hopefully have kids that come through the church and participate in youth and children's activities, that's going to be part of it. But, you know, let's talk about why that's important for our church. Again, I think we went back to when we went through a split and we became global. I think we were all looking for a lot of guidance and leadership from a conference. You know, Coach, you were, you know, I know we had some people from the global conference come in and talk about, you know, how the church was going to be directed and things like that, and how the business part of the church would be run. But I think what David just said a minute ago really carries a lot of weight. Is amongst all of that, it would have been easy to forget about the kids because we would have been so tied up in the business at hand and trying to get the church to where we need it to be physically sound and things like that. But that's not what we did as a congregation.
We were told this wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
By a lot of people. No, you can't. What? No way. But you know, the spirit of people working together and singing a great cause, and to give the kids a place. That's what we want it to be,
Amen.
right? A spirit that's got spiritual meaning to it, but a place that's theirs. It can be, and they can invite their friends to us. We're in the process of doing choirs, you know, for our children and our youth.
Right.
But that's kind of what we're talking about, aren't
Just
we?
a
place for 'em.
safe environment for them to come to learn the gospel of Jesus
And
Christ.
hopefully,
And the harbor's a nice place.
Oh, the arbor.
Now we got the arbor and
well, you got both facilities now that you
Yeah,
can utilize.
The potential is just amazing. What we can.
I mean, let's be honest. How many in a town of our size, how many churches in a town of our size have an opportunity to have facilities for their kids
like these two.
like these two? And for the community, now I'm going to talk about the Arbor for a second. The Arbor gets used by all types of organizations, from the school system to the city to, you know, outside groups that come in that use that facility because it's such a multi-use designed facility. And obviously we're happy to allow people to come in and use it, but that's what it's for, you know.
And can I say, and then turn it over to David, let him just go with it. Can I say that we're not finished?
Amen.
Oh, no.
But as far as our outreach to young people,
Right.
there's another plank in this program that we will be talking about, but it's going to be another part
And it's a part that's been
of
overlooked for a long
emphasizing
time.
young people,
Right.
you know.
Well, it's great to even like set up here with you two, and we got many more in our church that's so passionate about young people.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you guys are just as passionate as I am. And that's where the church is so great, is because not only do you, Pastor, is passionate and loving and caring, the congregation is too.
Yes.
That's why I spend so many of my nights, like tonight, I'm headed up Clay County. I spend so many of my nights on baseball fields, football fields, soccer
Building
fields,
relationships, yeah.
because
Being visible.
being visible, and you get to sit there. Last Thursday night at junior high game, middle school game at Dale, you just get up there and you just sit there and talk to parents and love on grandparents. And
That's how you do it, Dave.
Yeah, they just talk to you like you're just a regular person, and it's like, well, tell me about what's going on in your church.
I bet you're glad to do that.
Yeah, so I'm so glad. But that's the joy of us.
right.
Now, I'll say it's a team effort. It just, we enjoy what we do.
Well, I will say this too, David. You know, it also has a lot to do with the person that leads that group, because
Absolutely.
I'm going to tell you, you know, you said a mouthful when you said kids don't miss anything. Well, they don't miss that you're not there.
No.
They'll know when you're there and when you're not there, because they respect you and they care about you, and because they know you care about them. So you'll be amazed at how many are probably glancing up in the stands to see if you showed up or not.
They do.
And
They
again,
do.
and that's a special thing, because I remember when I was growing up, and I had a great youth director at another church, and he would show up to different events and things, and we would know if he was there or not. And again, that's when you know you're building a special bond,
Right.
and that's when the kids will do the recruiting for you.
Amen.
The kids will go out and say, "Hey, look, you need to come to our youth program."
This is real.
It is.
Yeah.
You need to come to our youth program. Don't just come because I'm telling you to come, but you need to experience what we experience
out.
every week when we get together. And you know, I see the pictures of, you know, Sunday school on Sunday with you guys, and there'd be
That's
30
awesome.
people in there, and you know, and again, room for more. And it's like
Oh,
you
yeah.
said, Coach, we're not done. You know, there's another stage to this, and the building's not finished. So let's kind of update everybody. That facility is when's the plans to actually be in the building?
We're hoping December 1st.
Yeah, I'll say if we're shooting for December the 1st would be great.
I think that's kind of the most aggressive.
Right.
Well, we know it could be a little bit later. I definitely think before Christmas.
But definitely
right?
before the first of next year.
Right.
Oh, yes.
Right.
I think before Christmas for sure.
Y'all think about how
That thing
fast,
have a heck of a Christmas tree in it now.
I was about
Let
to
me
say,
tell you, get one of those
We could put a
40
30 or 40 footers in there.
Yeah, that's so awesome that you
Yeah.
have a facility that that'll accommodate
Yeah.
a lot of people.
Amen.
You'll have, and again, David, we'll talk about this, and we'll stay on into this on the last part of the show. A lot of things that go on, like the tailgate party and you know, other events that you guys have throughout the year. Now you have that area to be able to operate from as a base and to kind of organize everything.
I'm about to tear up over here. It's just going to be amazing to be able to have all that area there for the tailgate party and events like that down there. It's going to be awesome.
Well, I do a message on this. I don't think I've done it yet, but I believe this when I'm speaking to kids and parents and stuff like that. I'll tell you what the kids in this nation, and I'm talking about this whole country, are starving for, is time with their parents, with people that care about
Right.
them. We do not emphasize time enough. Our kids are so busy. But when David goes to these ball games and sits in the stands, he's showing his time. He's making a sacrifice of his time to be with those kids. And as great as these buildings are, and it's
Right.
going to be an awesome
Right.
building, it's what's taking place inside,
I agree.
spending
Relationship.
time with our young people, because we got them on those stinking, you know how I feel about this technology garbage. We get them on those phones and all this technology that we have, and they need to spend time with people that will take them in a direction that will change their life. And that's what's going to happen.
It's funny y'all said something about that, because like last week I was sitting at Dayville Stadium, and I was down there with the I always take a half ear and a half ear to go sit so everybody will see you. So I'm sitting down there with the dance team to start with, and I had one of our cheerleaders text me, I thought you was coming tonight. I said, well, I'm coming down there the second half. But she noticed I wasn't there.
Again, it goes.
You know?
I go back to what I said. I mean,
She noticed that,
Right.
hey, where you at?
Well, I think that's important. And, you know, we all grew up, and a lot of time we talk about this when you play sports, you spend probably more time in that season
Yes.
with that coach or that coaching staff than you do your own
Oh,
family.
definitely.
Well, if you think about it from a church standpoint, in a youth program, especially in the summers, and then, you know, the different events that go on, you're spending a lot of time, or your child's spending a lot of time with somebody like David, you know, who has a great influence on them. And so you have to be very knowledgeable and selective on whether you want your kid around somebody and what kind of impact. And clearly,
Amen.
you know, the parents and the kids have gravitated to David. And, you know, look, my son went through the youth program here and through David, and, you know, he would leave football practice. And if it was a Wednesday night or whatever, as soon as practice was over, now they probably didn't appreciate him coming in there after 3 hours of practice and smelling like it. He'd skip going down there and get in the shower and change. He'd go straight and come straight in his practice stuff because he didn't want to miss it. That's where you want to be. You want to have kids that are on fire so much that they don't want to miss a second if they can, even if it's for 15 minutes. If it were like 15 minutes left in that youth that day, you know, he would go. It would be worth his time to go. That's how much he.
There is no substitute for time.
No.
I'm getting old as Methuselah. But when I sit down and think, you know what I think about? I think about the time that I spent with my dad, with my mom, with friends.
It's irreplaceable.
It's irreplaceable, and
irreplaceable.
hopefully we're going to use that for God's glory.
Right. We're going to take our final break. We come back, we're going to finish up here on Inside Cornerstone.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
As your State Farm team, we will be there for you with the financial strength to deliver on our promises. Service that's a sure thing. You can think of us as your good neighbors who help protect what's important to you. We're here when you need us the most. You can call us 24/7 to get answers to your questions, file a claim, or see if we can find you more ways to save. We have many coverages and many discounts. We can help protect more areas of your life and find every discount you qualify for along the way. Please call us or visit 2048 Cherokee Road for coverage you can count on.
Medicine Express Family Pharmacy, located conveniently at the corner of Airport Drive and Highway 280 in Alexander City, offers friendly service, convenient drive-through service, and can answer any questions on prescriptions and vitamins. Local family owned with 30-plus years of pharmacy experience, they also offer compounding services, which includes personalized hormone replacement, therapies, and pain gels. And they accept most insurance and discount cards. Go see them today at Medicine Express Family Pharmacy.
Amanda Scroggins with RE/MAX Around the Lake will cover every inch of Lake Martin's 880 miles of shoreline to find your family's dream home. Amanda's experience is top-notch, and she is consistently a top 10 RE/MAX agent in the state of Alabama. Her love for her clients is sincere and from the heart. Call her today at 256-749-6634 or visit her website, amandascroggins.com today.
For 30 years, Derek Blythe has built a reputation in the Alexander City area as the family attorney. He's always been passionate about fighting for his clients because he believes everyone deserves an advocate in their corner. People of his community deserve to have someone in their corner to fight for them. And he loves making lasting relationships with those people and their family. Whether you're seeking child custody, divorce, visitation, looking for compensation after being injured in a car accident, probating an estate, dealing with a contractual dispute, fighting.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final segment here on Inside Cornerstone. Again, want to thank everybody that joins us every week. And if you're new to the program, we're glad that you tuned us in. And again, we want to thank our sponsors that you see. You may be asking, well, why is a church program have commercial breaks? Well,
And having this much fun.
That's illegal. What are we doing?
You're not supposed to do that.
Well, the reason we have commercial breaks in a church program is because these businesses generously
Yes.
are taking care of a lot of things. That they fund this program, first of all, and then next they also contribute to our Wednesday night meal that we talk about almost every week. But these funds go all back into our ministries. So we couldn't do it without them. So that's why they have a commercial spot. So hey, go frequent their business, go support their business because they're supporting us and they're
We
giving
appreciate
back.
it.
And we do. And so we really, really do appreciate that. David, we appreciate you being here today. We've used most of the show to talk about our kids, which I could do this every time we're on the air, but our youth, and then we talked about Children's Sabbath.
And Brett, we're gonna let the youth do a service.
Amen.
I can't wait to see the youth do their service after our new youth center is
that's gonna be
built.
phenomenal.
And we want the men to do a service and the ladies to do a service.
Absolutely.
We want to continue let the body of the church do things like that to
I think
glorify
that's
God.
an awesome opportunity
It
to be
is,
able to
yeah.
spread the wealth.
Yeah.
Because everybody has something to give. And again, you may not necessarily be the one up front talking or speaking or whatever, but there are a lot of different things that you can be involved in, when that time comes,
Of course.
when those different services come.
Right.
David, I wanted to go back to you and talk to you some more. We were talking off the air, and I'd really like you to share this with everybody. Really, two things that really kind of led you in this direction with being a youth director.
Yeah, we talked about time is the most important thing.
Right.
If you're a parent out there, spend as much time as you can with your child. There's two things that changed my life a long time ago when I first started in ministry. I realized as I was without a father when I was growing up, I looked up in the stands and nobody was there for me. Nobody was there. And it does break your heart when you don't have a father or somebody there to watch you. So that made a huge impact on my life. The second thing was when I first started in youth ministry, I was sitting in my office one day and a child just came, a young boy comes in and sits down right in front of me, crying, all upset. And I says, "Son, what is wrong?" So he lays down on my office desk a bunch of 20s. And I said, "Wow, where'd you get all this money from?" And the child looked at me, just crying his heart out, and says, "My dad gives me a 20 whenever he just wants to just not take time with me. He'd rather just give me money than his time." And that broke my heart because I said from then on, and I get tear-eyed thinking about it, I hope God puts me in position to be at every ball game, every event I could possibly be in as a leader.
That's awesome,
Right.
man.
Well, again, I think, I really wanted you to tell everybody about that because I thought that's powerful because there's a lot of people out there that you think a kid just wants money.
Buy 'em happiness.
You
Buy 'em
cannot,
happiness.
you just summed it up for me. You can't buy
buy
happiness. And I'm going to say this, and we talked about the time element. Spending time with somebody, whether it be with your grandmother, whether it be a parent with a child, vice versa, whether it be with a youth director, whether it be with a coach, you don't get that back. Once that time goes, I remember
Amen.
coaching Braden in the Little League, and I coached him in every sport. And I always asked him, by the way, because I was like, hey, you want me to coach again?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I want you to coach. I said, you sure? After I said, you know you're going to catch the wrath of everybody.
Right.
But I look back at it, and, you know, I was in the middle of my career and everything that was going on. And I thought to myself sometimes, I'm like, man, I just don't have time, you know, to do a lot of this stuff. But I never didn't do it. Right. And I look back on it, and my advice to some of my friends now that have kids that are, and I said, look, I made a vow to myself, I would never be too busy for my children. Amen. And for Brindley, I coached her in soccer and, you know, different things that she was involved in all the way up. Now that she's in middle school, she's at that grade now. She's got different coaches. But the bottom line is, I made sure to never be too busy, no matter how busy I was. Right. To say I can't be with my kids, because that time goes by so fast. You blink and it is over.
It's over.
And I have so many friends that look back and they've told me in the past, they go, man, I wish I'd have done this, or I wish I'd have done that. So don't live with regrets. Right. I know that we all have a lot going on, but don't ever be too busy for your kids. Amen. You know, that it just find a way. For others. Right. And that's what I think what David's saying is where I'm going with this is that, you know, he's not only got a family and kids that he's caring for, he's caring for everybody else's kids too, and trying to be a father figure to them. And that is special, David. I know that those kids know where you are, and they know that you're going to be there to watch them.
And that's what you want to pull in the church.
Absolutely.
You want everybody in that church to feel like those are their kids. And you want our young people to think that all those people in the church care for them just like their parents do. Right. They've got this army of support that's got their back, whatever they do. That's what we're trying to achieve, right, Dave?
That's exactly right. And this is one thing I've done all my entire career in youth ministry. I always want the child to know that it's like tonight. I don't think it's a requirement that I have to go to Lake County. Right. I want them people to know, and I want our children to know he's setting up in the stands because he loves us. Not because he got to, that's his job, but I'm setting up in the stands because I love you and I want to be there. Right.
Again, I think you're looking at it, and people are hearing that, and I think they already know that about you, but you're not going up there to check a box. You're not going, okay, I'm the youth minister. I'm going to go up there and sit for about 25 minutes, walk around, speak, and then I'm going to go ahead and get out of there. I mean, you're going up there genuinely because you want to go watch the kids and you want to be part of it.
It's what's in my heart to do. It's what's in my heart.
And that's what's special right
look,
now.
Again, if you're not familiar with Cornerstone and you've watched this program today and you're a family and you don't have a church and you want to raise your kids in a great place where you know they're going to be cared about and you know you're going to have people that spend time with them. Amen. And you know they're going to be involved in the right things, we'd love to have you at Cornerstone. I mean, that's the bottom line at the end of the day. Now, again, we don't – if you're happy in your church and you're doing great things, that's what it's all about, and we're pulling for that too.
That's right.
But for those that don't have a church home, you know, no matter where you're from, and you know, for the kids out there that might be watching this or might be hearing about it, you don't have to be a member of the church to be involved in some of these activities. We got the trunk or treat coming up here in when do we know the date on that?
29th.
It's the 29th. And then on into November, we'll be talking about this a little bit more as we get close. We're going to have a tailgate party that we've been having around here for a long time. And I hate everybody's, you know, going to be battling for second because first has already been determined, right, Dave? No, I'm just kidding.
He said the college age is going to win.
That.
He said the college age is going to win.
I didn't say that.
He says
I just said everybody be battling for second. No, but anyway, we'll have the tailgate party coming up.
Yeah, a lot going on.
A lot going on in the church. A lot going on. So a lot of exciting things that we have. Well, Coach, before we go, let you kind of end with some parting points. I know your message, we usually go through your message on the show, but didn't really have a lot of time today to do it. So I'm going to turn it over to you and kind of give you an opportunity to share a few words with everybody.
it's just been a joy for me to sit here and do. I've never minded talking, but I need to.
I don't think any of the three of us are real shy.
I need to listen, and it's been awesome just to hear we're all on the same page. It's great. I think my parting point today would be this: we've talked for a long time about buildings and programs and being there, time, and how important it is. This one other thing I think we might need to mention, Jesus told us to bring the children to him. Jesus said to his disciples, let the children come unto me. I take that as a commandment. I'm not saying, I don't think he suggested it. I don't think he asked it.
Right.
Jesus wants the children to come. It is our responsibility in all churches and in our society to bring our children to Jesus Christ. Amen. And as a coach, as a teacher, principal, superintendent, there are opportunities to do that. And it starts off with the way you live your life. And, David's making a difference because he lives it. The kids look at him, and Brett, I think they look at you, and I think they look at a lot of people in our church and in all of our churches, and they look and say, so that's what it means to be a Christian, that right there. I did a funeral yesterday, but I didn't do it. The lady preached her funeral, the way she lived her life.
Yeah, right.
But, most of the time, and I hate to tell it, and ask the kids this, they'll verify it. It's hard to tell the Christians from the non-Christians. I mean, the Christian guy's cussing the coach out just about as bad as the non-Christian. I mean, you can't tell a difference. But we need people that will show our young people, here's an example of what a Christian coach looks like, a Christian youth leader looks like, a Christian radio guy, and here's the guy that does the play-by-play on the games, and all the various hats that we wear out there, to use it to tell our young people it's all about Jesus Christ, because Jesus commanded us to bring the children to him.
Wow.
Coach, I feel like I've been taught to myself here today, and I think that's the good thing. But again, I think that we have a cross to bear, and none of us are perfect. I've got my flaws for sure, and things I have to work on, things I need to continue to work on in my personal life.
We all do.
But you're right. The best way to do it is think about what those kids around you think of you and how you act. And that'll humble you, because I know as I say that to myself, I should be embarrassed, because kids are watching you all the time. And again, if you're supposed to be the Christian that God wants you to be, that you failed in that arena. You just hope you haven't failed so poorly that you've led them astray. So I think that's the best way to do it. When you're in a situation, how do those kids look at you in that particular situation? Are you being a light for them, or are you being dark?
If I'm so busy on Sunday morning that I can't do this to a 5-year-old, if I'm so busy I got something else to do, then I need to get down on my knees and re-examine who I am and what I actually am trying to do. And the reason this feels so good is because it's what Jesus told us to do.
Right.
We're actually involved in something that he told us to do, and when you do that, it feels good.
Let's go do it.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're out of time. David, thank you so much, buddy.
man.
It's been a
Thank
pleasure
y'all.
having you up here. We've got a lot of exciting things going on here in our church, and we're glad that you've joined us out there. We'll be back with you next week again. For Coach, I'm Brett, and that's David over there. We'll see you next time.
And please watch Columbo whenever it comes on.
I think Kane cut that out.
Thank you, Kane.
For 30 years, Derek Blythe has built a reputation in the Alexander City area as the family attorney. He's always been passionate about fighting for his clients because he believes everyone deserves an advocate in their corner. People of his community deserve to have someone in their corner to fight for them. And he loves making lasting relationships with those people and their family. Whether you're seeking child custody, divorce, visitation, looking for compensation after being injured in a car accident, probating an estate, dealing with a contractual dispute, fighting criminal charges, Eric Blythe is here for you.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.